hello! How are you doing, my friends from JC Kids Education? Hear me again. Yeah, you surprised the place where I am right now because it's not the common place that I usually record the videos. It's because today I am going to start with a new story. Yes, a new story that I'm sure that all of you are going to really like. You know what is it about? It is about one of my best favorite dogs. I'm talking about Floppy the dog. But the question is, why are you showing this place that is the street? What is that street, Mr. JC? Well, actually this is the street where I live, right? So, the thing is that what I want, yes, is to show you the place where I used to live when I was a little kid. Probably when I was 10 or 12 years old. I wanted you to take a look, please, to this place. This place now is a manufacturing company where they make all kind of clothing, brands, and everything, you know? Which is absolutely different than it used to be like years and years ago. So, I want to start presenting today Floppy the dog. And the story starts like this. This plant that you can see right here is a fruit plant. Yes, it's a fruit plant. Remember when I told you about what were, let's say, the parts of the flower, remember? Well, actually, this kind of fruit starts like a flower first. I'm talking about guanabana. Guanabana. Do you like it? The taste is like sour and sweety. Yeah, it's really good. If you like to prepare it in juice with milk, it's fantastic. Hey, and many people use the leaves, yes, these leaves, to make some tea. Yes. And did you know that doctors says that the leaves of this tree are really healthy for people who suffer from cancer? Yeah. Believing or not is part of what people say. Well, many people try to find this kind of leaves to make some tea, and they can, in a way, recover from cancer disease. But let's go again to the beginning. Remember I told you about the flower, and I told you that the plant starts with the soil, which is this part of here. It starts with the root, because in the soil there's a root, which makes a stem, the plant, even the flower, whatever is it. And I told you that there is a stem when we talk about flowers, right? Don't forget it. We got the root, so the root comes from the soil, right? Which is in a way what is going to stand the plant, right? Why I'm showing this plant? Because this is the only one plant left that comes from the place that I show you, not the manufacturing company. Years and years ago, that was not a manufacturing company. No, it was a place, a great place where you can, where you can raise domestic animals like hens, like chickens, like rabbits. Oh, and you know what was fantastic is that I used to raise horses. Yeah, horses. But inside this place that is now a manufacturing company, right? There used to be a lot of all kind of vegetables and plants and fruit trees like this one. So this is the only one fruit tree that I could take from that place. Obviously now it's a big building, but years and years ago, it was like a garden full of plants. Do you like plants? Have you got a garden at home? A jar behind your house, your living room? Well, that was the place where I used to spend my whole childhood. Yes, my whole childhood. So that's why I wanted to present this story about the Floppy the dog by showing you that. I'm going to start telling you about this story. When I was 10 or 12 years old, I used to be really poor. Yeah, my family were really poor. Imagine that, comparing the years from now to the past of the years, I didn't know what was a toy. I didn't know what was a toy like. Because my parents, especially my father, he used to work a lot, he used to work hard, and not making enough money, but working hard as always. The thing is that there was a person, the owner of the place, who was Mrs. Beatrice. Mrs. Beatrice was one of the most generous person I have ever met in my whole life. She was not from Peru, she was from Argentina. But I remembered obviously that her husband was from Peru. But what happened with her? Why I'm mentioning her name? Because now she's not with me anymore. She passed away about 5 or 6 years ago. It's a person that I will always remember for many things. First of all, because she gave us the opportunity, especially my mom, to work with her. To take her part of her place. The big land that I mentioned, it didn't belong to us. It used to belong to her. So one day I remember that it was December. We were about one day left before Christmas, and Mrs. Beatrice surprised me. Me and my siblings, I'm referring to my brother and my sisters, with a very wonderful present. It was a dog. Yeah, but it was not a puppy dog. It was not a puppy dog. It was a big dog. Have you ever seen the Irish settle dog, which is the big one? Wow. But the thing is that at the beginning, when she got off her car, the glasses of her car were covered like black, so we didn't expect what was inside. But when she said that, okay guys, I have a present to all of you, at the beginning we were thinking about toys, but actually she brought toys for everyone else. I remember that one of my first toys that I received was a big box of puzzle words and pictures, I remember. And my sisters, they received their dolls. I remember my brother received like a robot toy made of plastic, almost all the toys are made of plastic and rubber. So the thing is that we never expect that there's going to be a big dog inside the car. And I don't know if the dog was trained, but because the dog didn't bark. Because usually when the dogs are in a place that is not their place, they usually bark. But this dog was really quiet. So the thing is, at the end we couldn't guess what was inside. We received the toys, the presents, we opened the wrapping papers. And when she says, okay, are you ready for the present? And she said, but before opening the door, you have to promise something to me. And we start wondering ourselves, what is that promise she's going to say about? So in that moment, she says, it's very simple. Responsibility. Responsibility in what way? It's because the toy is not a toy, it's an animal. Oh, it's an animal, what is it? We start saying, I don't know. You need to take a lot of responsibility and care. Okay? Please, all of you, blind for a moment, close your eyes. I was closing my eyes. Okay, close your eyes. Okay. And she opened the door, but to be honest, I was looking with one eye. Have you ever done that? Like you are supposed to blinking your eyes, but you have one open. So when she opened the door, immediately a dog jumped out of the car, but it was a very big dog. It was an Irish settle dog. My God! But in that moment, the dog was so emotional that instead of going to her owner, Mrs. Beatrice, she came on me. And there was a moment that I slipped and I fell down and say, hey, be careful, Carlitos, because they used to go me like that. And the dog started licking my face and saying, yeah! I was scared that the dog is going to bite me because We normally think that big dogs normally bite you. Have you ever been bitten by a dog? Oh my God, it's terrible. I got that experience but years ago. So in that moment, Mrs. Beatrice says, Floppy, yes, Floppy, please quiet, Floppy. And she started clapping her hands like this, Floppy. And in that moment, Floppy just stood up and sat down. Immediately, Floppy listened to her voice. Floppy just stopped licking me. Have you ever been playing with your dogs, your puppies, and they start licking you? Yes. At the beginning, it sounds like, oh, dirty, filthy. But they're animals. Obviously, if you're always cleaning them, taking a shower, and all that is great, no? Well, actually, the dogs are usually behaving like that, no? When they see their owner, they run away, they wag their tail, and they're so emotional, then they go after you. Well, I told you, no? Floppy started licking me and all that, but it was a very quiet dog, very cute dog. And I remember Mrs. Beatrice told us, no, so please, you have to take care of the dog. Don't worry about the food, because every weekend I am gonna bring a pack of food, which consists of little cookies, no? Little cookies that most of them are made of chicken, made of lamb. And don't forget, always pay attention to provide their water, because the dogs always need that you provide with water. Don't forget it. It's part of the responsibility about caring these kind of animals, right? Well, the thing is that we need to find a place where is the dog going to sleep. So as soon as that, we say thank you so much to Mrs. Beatrice for the toys, the presents for Christmas, and this wonderful, great gift that it was Floppy. Well, I remember that I just pick up his neck belt. Yes, the ones that you always carry to the dog. Okay, you take it to the dog when you walk the dog around the park, whatever. There was like a room. It was a small place, similar like a cabin, made of wood, where we usually used to put the things like tools, like shovels, rakes, different kind of pesticides that we use for the vegetables and plants that my parents used to harvest in this place, because I told you there were fruits and vegetables. So a part of it, there were special food for horses, because there were some places where usually we put the horses and the domestic animals I mentioned at the beginning. So we found a place where Floppy is gonna sleep. The first day, okay, the emotions, the happiness of having a new dog was fantastic. But the most difficult thing was the first night with Floppy, because I remember that during the whole day and the afternoon, we play, we jump, we run from one place. I don't know, but we have that clothing thing with the animal that I could think that probably Floppy knows for years and years ago, because it was a very friendly dog. We have to say goodbye to Floppy, because me and my siblings, we had to go home. No way. Imagine when we went to the door and we have to lock the door with a key because it's a matter of security. The dog didn't want to go to its place to sleep, because the dog was thinking that we are going to leave him. So he starts like howling, I don't know, barking, like complaining, why are you leaving me here? You're not supposed to take me home. I didn't know. It seems like the animal didn't understand that place, that small cabin, is gonna be his home. Wow. Me and my siblings, we were like, oh my God, really worried what is gonna happen during all night. So the thing is that we had to take a decision. We locked the door, and we left the dog. We left the dog. So when we were walking, back home, the dog started barking, howling, barking. You kidding us? We couldn't stop him. There was a moment that my mother told us, hey, leave the dog alone. But mommy, the dog is crying. Leave the dog alone. It's going to take time that the dog used to, accustom you that it's not going to be like all the time with you. So try to understand. There is a moment, there is a time of adaptation for the animal. So the dog is not going to happen anything to the dog, my mom told me. Every morning, oh my God, every morning it was like 6 or 7 o'clock. The first thing I usually do, me more than my siblings, is going to that land place. But why, Mr. Jason? Of course, in the morning, you start hearing the animals like the horses, hens, like rabbits, turkeys. Have you heard that sound of the turkey? Pigs, oi, oi! Oh, my mother used to raise all these domestic animals. So in the morning, my responsibility was going to the land, to that place, to provide water and food to the animals. But the question is, what kind of food did the hens, chickens, and ducks used to eat? Most of the time, they used to eat lettuce leaves, or spinach leaves. And lettuce leaves and spinach leaves and beet leaves, okay? We used to come take it from the place. Yes, because my father in special, he was a very good farmer. Yes, my father was a farmer and my mother too. They had experience on crops and harvest. It was fantastic. We usually prepare the food. My mother used to cook the food, the potatoes and everything from that place. I could say that it was a blessing land. We got everything. The only responsibility me and my family was just taking care of the land of the animals, and especially the horses, because there were not common horses. They were the small ones, the pony horses. Yes, I remember Olaf. Olaf was one of my favorite ponies because imagine in the morning, Olaf used to call me like. In the morning, my responsibility was providing to the animals the food, their water. And did you know that the horses usually lick a little rock of salt? Yes, because the horses usually lick the salt. So I have to do that every time. And of course, I have to clean up. You could say now, oh, Mr. Jason, it's disgusting. You used to clean the hoof of the horses and all the animals. Yes, I remember that I used to take my shovel and my rake, and I used my rake to join in one pile of soil, okay, this kind of soil, which is, the hoof, right? And what do you think I'm going to do with that? The soil was really good for the plants. The soil, the hoof that we get from the animals and the horses was really good because we spread all over the land, and you have no idea the vegetables, the tomatoes, the lettuce, and everything that we usually take, like the cabbage. We usually have cabbages, cauliflowers. It was a fantastic place. Imagine more than 3,000 meters. It was a very big one. But one of the things that I really like about Floppy is that he always was behind me, always wagging his tail. I could say that he was my best friend. I consider the dogs, with that experience that I'm telling in my story, that the dogs are really loyal. Yes, they are really loyal. And loyalty is one of the things that is very difficult to find, even more in a person. But the dogs have that principal characteristic. I could say that sometimes when I was sad, I could talk to my dog and Floppy listens to me. He used to stare with his eyes and used to move its ears. And I was really sure that he was understanding me. And I could say that probably he was using the language of the doggy language. I'm saying, I'm sure that Floppy used to hear me, yes, and understand what I was saying. I remember that it was my mother's birthday. It was on August the 30th, and my mother told me, "What are we going to cook for my birthday?" And I told my mom, "Mom, why don't you cook that one? I mean, rice with duck." "Oh, rice with duck? Yes, mommy, you cook really delicious." So my mother told me, "Tomorrow, very early, we're going to go to the land, to the bar, and we are going to get 3 ducks. So I am going to cook on my birthday a delicious rice with duck." Wow! So the thing is that as soon as came the other day, I was like expecting that the day just come immediately. I remember that I opened the door of my house, but something happened. I didn't hear, I mean, the animals, like just the horses and my dog barking, but not the other animals. It was very strange. So I remember I opened the door, and my dog was like really happy, jumping. I say, "Hey, Floppy, what's wrong? What happened?" So my dog start running, going in circles, like he was trying to tell me something. So the thing is that I start hearing the ponies. Obviously they were really hungry, but when my mother was coming behind me, I went to the bars. I opened the bar where we usually have more than 100 rabbits in the cages. But you know what happened? There were no rabbits. I went to the other bar of the turkeys, the hens, and there were no hens, no turkeys. There were no ducks. And I told Mom, come! I started shouting. I'm calling my siblings, calling my dad. I couldn't believe it. So, you know what happened? The animals were stolen. I don't know how, but somebody got into the land over the walls. I don't know. Over the walls probably, yes. Over the walls probably. And what we are thinking is that this person or this kind of people, the thieves, they pick up like a lot of packs and put the animals in it and take it away. But they didn't use the principal door. They just escaped. They just used the walls behind. How could I notice about that? Because we could notice some footprints all over the wall. And my mom was really sad on her birthday, but we have to convince her that she continues raising animals. But she gave up about that. She didn't want to raise animals anymore. We thought that the bad news finished right there, but it didn't finish. The next day, September the 1st, it was the worst day of my life. I remember that I went to the land to feed my dog and the horses, because as you know, the other domestic animals, they were out. They were left because of the thieves. The thing is that it was really weird. I didn't hear my dog barking. It was pretty strange because as soon as I usually open the door of my house, I usually hear Floppy barking, like calling me. But when I took the key, this is a key, to open it, the door, everything was really quiet. Okay, I only hear the horses, but not my dog barking. So in that moment, I opened it and I saw everywhere around, to the right, to the left, and it was not my dog. And I wondered myself, what's going on here? No, don't tell me. Don't tell me that these thieves stole my dog too. Because, no. So in that moment I decided just to walk, just go inside the land, all over the vegetables, because the land, I told you, there were a lot of crops. So I start calling, Floppy, where are you? Floppy, you're playing. No, Floppy, you're playing. Hey, it's me. I got your food. But I couldn't hear any reply of the dog. So there was a serious moment that I started thinking by myself that actually the dog was not there. So I continued walking and I went through a bunch of passion fruit plant, the passion fruit plant, but it was not around it. I continued all over the potato plants, which are like plants like that, yucca root plants, but it was not there. But I remember the watermelon plant. The watermelon plant usually grows all over the soil. It's not a tree. It's just like a simple bunch of different leaves with big watermelons. You don't imagine what did I see next to one of these watermelons? I saw something brown, like bright. And okay, now I am wearing glasses, but when I was a little boy, I didn't wear glasses. I just got closer and I saw my dog. I saw my dog lying next to the watermelon plant, and I thought probably because I was a little child, I was so innocent, and I said, hey, what's going on with you, Floppy? You got your place where you sleep. What are you doing here? And I just knee. And the dog was not moving. The dog was not breathing. The dog was dead. Still, my friends. My dog was dead, with a lot of white spit coming out of its mouth. I couldn't believe it. I'm sorry to cry. I'm sorry. Losing a friend, it's not easy. A friend which I used to play a lot when I feel sad, when I feel alone. He was always with me. But the question was, what really happened with my dog? Well, I had to take a decision. I have to pick up my shovel to dig a hole and to grave my dog. I remember that the guanabana plant was a small plant that my mother was cultivating And my mother told me, if you always want to remember your dog song, try to make a hole around the roots of the guanabana and just put your dog inside. I'm sure this plant tree is going to grow really, really strong, and it's going to provide a lot of fruit. So I just grave my dog around the guanabana plant. I cover with the soil. I made a little wood cross with the name of my dog, Floppy. Well, the thing is that in that moment when I was like praying for my dog, I never noticed how it died. Everything happened so fast. I went to the dishwasher. There was like a dishwasher made of granite, which is a kind of material. When I was washing my hands in that dishwasher, it's like a sink. I saw on the floor like a plastic bag, but this plastic bag was broke, and inside the bag there were chicken bones and some pieces of chicken, which it was not the common food that I usually provide my dog every morning. So I just get closer to take a look, and there were some little green things, like little seeds, spread all over the chicken. My friends, I'm talking about poison. The poisons that people usually kill rats. They put it in the food of my dog. I don't know how did they give it to my dog. I'm thinking that probably they throw it to the wall, and obviously my dog ate it. I would like to know who was this person. But the question is, what happened? Why did they kill my dog? If they stole all the domestic animals, it was a revenge? It was a payback? Have you ever been in that situation? I hope not. It's really sad, my friends. Floppy died. After years, when the land was sold to this manufacturing company, we had to leave all the plants and everything when we moved to that place, because the place was sold to a different person. I used to take this plant. This guanabana plant there is really big. It's really tall, right? So every time I'm around here, I remember my dog Floppy. So I honor this plant to my animal, right? And you're probably wondering, what are you, Mr. JC, holding this small puppy? Well, after years, actually I got married. Now I am 46, so I got children, and my children asked me to get a dog. I didn't want to say at the beginning, so I told you, my wife's sister is a vet, so she promised my son to give a dog as a present. And here it is. We got a female dog. Her name is Preciosa. It's part of the family. I just got the experience again to raise a dog, Students, my friends, if you have the opportunity to have a dog, give all love you have. And never forget that dogs are so loyal. Okay, never forget it. Dogs are really loyal, are really lovely. And even I know that most of you live in a house and you probably have a big space where you can raise them. And the others are going to say the opposite, that probably that you live in a building and the dogs are not allowed, are not permitted. Hey, having a dog requires a lot of responsibility. Especially, don't forget to provide food, to clean their mess, because sometimes it's the most difficult thing for everyone else, because we consider it disgusting. But don't forget that this animal has a heart like you, okay? It feels, and it gives you love too. Thank you so much, my friends from JC Kids Education. I really hope that you enjoy the video and the story about Floppy the dog. And even probably most of you are thinking that it was a sad story. That is part of me. But the message is very clear. Responsibility and love. Thank you so much. I have to say goodbye because it's a really cold day today. As you see, it's winter. And we see you for the next class. Bye bye. See you.